Well, the success of cellulosic energy production could well reinvent Oklahoma farm country. I visited with some leading researchers to talk about the agronomics and the economics of switchgrass.
Grows very aggressively once it gets established, and actually not much that can compete with it once it gets this size.
Brian Motes is a forage specialist working on field plots of switchgrass that someday soon the Noble Foundation hopes to release to area farmers to use for ethanol production. An ideal plant in large part for its large size.
Currently here, 1st of May, it's about knee to thigh high, depending where in the stand you are. By September, when it's fully headed out, it could be up to 7 or 8 feet tall.
Joe Booten heads up the Noble Foundation's Forage Improvement Division and hopes to do for switchgrass what the foundation has already done with a number of more traditional forages. Develop breeds that are not just suitable for the area, but are profitable for local growers.
When it was just a part of the range, it was fine. You know, it is an integral part of our range, our native range. But now all of a sudden, you can look at it as a crop. And when you can look at it as a crop, then you can look at it as in an economic sense. And then you can build a lot of things off of it, a whole economic model for a rural development program, if you will.
That's why scientists across the U.S. are racing to see who can develop a crop that will switch America's biofuel industry from corn-based ethanol to switchgrass. Bert English is with the University of Tennessee.
Switchgrass is native to the United States. It grows in place for 10 to 15 years. There's without question a niche for a corn ethanol, but it won't meet the total demand. Our demand is growing. It's not shrinking.
English is confident switchgrass can fill that void, primarily because switchgrass is a native grass across much of the South.
You don't have to reseed it every year. You don't have to use the tractor in planting and cultivating. After the first 2 years, you probably don't have to use any chemicals on the plant.
But developing switchgrass as a cash crop still involves some challenges. Does it replace established crops like wheat, or can it be raised on marginal land now used for grazing?
We're doing some weed experiments, and you need seed. We need seed companies looking at this, and we need also plant improvement. The more yield per acre, the more ethanol per acre. And I think that's going to be critical in the long run, looking at the food versus fuel versus feed issue.
And while researchers are confident the future of biofuels lies in these fields, they know the economics of developing a sustainable biofuels industry is still a ways away.
You know, they're going from a probably holistic, more extensive type management system to a more intensive management system. And it's all about economics. You know, if they get a contract to grow switchgrass and they know it pays them so much a ton to produce it, then it's just an economic model to how much do I put in to get that much tonnage, and then I'll know what I'll make off of it.
Still, Booten believes he'll live to see the day processing plants dot the Oklahoma plains, turning grass into gas.
It's getting the plants here, because if you get the plants, then they'll give contracts to the farmers. They can then put the inputs in and grow enough to satisfy the contract and make money, hopefully.